I checked into the Grandview Hotel last Monday for a 3-day work conference. Room 237, 3rd floor, standard business room. When I opened the door the first time, it was exactly what I expected. 2 queen beds, desk by the window, bathroom on the right, generic hotel art on the walls. I threw my suitcase on the bed, used the bathroom, went back downstairs for the opening reception. I was gone maybe 2 hours. When I came back to my room, it was different. Not completely different, but wrong. The beds were in different positions. The bathroom door was on the left now, not the right. The art on the walls showed different images. I stood in the doorway staring, trying to make sense of it. Same room number, 237. My keycard worked. My suitcase was still there, on the bed where I'd left it. But the room had changed. I went back downstairs, asked the front desk if they'd moved me to a different room. The clerk looked confused, checked the system, said no. I'd been in 237 since check-in, no changes made. I described what I was seeing, and she just gave me this look like I was tired or confused. Said, sometimes rooms look different depending on lighting. Maybe I just misremembered the layout. I went back up, looked more carefully. The beds were definitely in different spots. I'd put my suitcase on the bed closest to the window. That bed was now against the opposite wall, but my suitcase was still on it, in the same position, like the bed had moved, but my stuff had moved with it. I tried to brush it off. Long day jet lag. Maybe I really had misremembered. I unpacked, got ready for bed. But before I went to sleep, I took photos. Every angle of the room, bathroom, beds, desk, closet, everything. Just in case. I set my phone on the nightstand, turned off the lights, went to sleep. I woke up around 3 a.m. to use the bathroom. Turned on the light. The bathroom was different. Completely different. Different tile, different fixtures, different layout. The bathtub was now a shower stall. The sink was a different color. I stood there staring at it, heart pounding. Checked my photos from earlier. In the photos, the bathroom had a tub, beige tile, white sink. What I was looking at now had a shower, gray tile, black sink. I went back into the main room, turned on all the lights. Everything else looked the same as when I'd gone to sleep. Same bed positions, same desk, same art. But the bathroom had completely changed. I checked the door. Still said 237. My key card was on the dresser. I tried the door to the hallway, looked out. Same hallway, same carpet, same room numbers on the other doors. I was definitely in the right room. But the room wasn't right. I barely slept the rest of the night, just lay there staring at the ceiling, trying to rationalize what was happening. In the morning, I went down for the conference, didn't mention it to anyone. Figured I'd sound insane. Spent the whole day in meetings trying to focus, but my mind kept going back to the room. At lunch, I went up to check on it. Used my keycard, opened the door. The beds were different. Not different positions, different beds. What had been 2 queen beds was now 1 king bed. The desk was gone. In its place was a small table with 2 chairs. The TV was on a different wall. I stood there, door open, just staring. My suitcase was on the bed. Same bed, but it was a king now instead of a queen. How was that possible? I took more photos, comparing them to the ones from last night. Undeniable. Different furniture, different layout, same room number. I went back to the front desk, showed the clerk the photos, explained what was happening. She looked at the photos, looked at me, said she'd get the manager. The manager came out, a middle-aged guy in a suit, looking annoyed like I was wasting his time. I showed him the photos. His expression changed. got really serious. He asked me to come with him. We went up to the 3rd floor, walked to room 237. He used a master key, opened the door. The room was different again. 2 double beds now, not queens, not a king. Different headboards, different bedspreads. The bathroom door was in a 3rd position, center of the wall instead of left or right. My suitcase was still there, but on a different bed than where I'd left it. The manager stood there, not saying anything. Finally, he asked, "How long have you been in this room?" I said since yesterday, check-in at 2 p.m. He nodded slowly, then said something that made my stomach drop. "You're the 3rd person this has happened to." He told me to pack my things. He'd move me to a different room. I asked what was going on with 237. He said he didn't know, but they'd had complaints before. Guests reporting the room changing, different layouts, different furniture, even different sizes. One person claimed the room had been huge when they checked in and tiny when they came back from dinner, like the walls had moved closer together. Another said the windows showed different views, sometimes the parking lot, sometimes a different city entirely. The hotel had investigated, couldn't find any explanation. Eventually, they just stopped booking the room. But the system had glitched, assigned it to me automatically. I started packing. That's when I noticed my stuff was different too. Not all of it, just small things. My toiletries in the bathroom were arranged in an order I hadn't put them in. A shirt I'd hung in the closet was folded on a chair. My phone charger was plugged into a different outlet. Like someone had unpacked and repacked my things slightly wrong. Or like I'd done it in a different reality and this version was close, but not exact. I packed faster, wanted out of that room. The manager took me down the hall to room 315. Normal room, no complaints about it, he assured me. I moved my stuff, locked the door, tried to relax. But I couldn't stop thinking about 237. That night, I went back. Just walked past it. The door was closed, no light under it, supposedly empty. But I could hear something inside. Movement, like someone walking around. I put my ear to the door. Footsteps, someone unpacking, water running in the bathroom. I knocked. The sound stopped. Complete silence. I knocked again. Nothing. I tried my old keycard just to see. It worked. I opened the door. The room was empty. No furniture. Completely bare. Just walls, floor, ceiling. No beds, no bathroom door, no closet. Just an empty box. The room number on the inside of the door said 237. But the room had no room. Just space. I backed out slowly, let the door close. When I looked at it from the hallway, it seemed normal. Solid door, number 237 on it, no indication of what was inside. I went back to my room, didn't sleep much that night either. The next day I checked out early, skipped the last day of the conference. Told the front desk I had an emergency. The manager asked if room 315 had been okay. I said it was fine, didn't mention going back to 237. As I was leaving, I saw a housekeeper's cart outside room 237. The door was open. I looked inside as I walked past. It was a normal hotel room again. 2 queen beds, desk, bathroom on the right. Exactly how it had been when I first checked in, like nothing had ever been wrong. A housekeeper was inside, changing the sheets, completely unbothered. I left, drove home. But I've thought about it every day since. Room 237 wasn't just changing. It was existing in multiple states at once, glitching between different realities, different versions of itself. And somehow I was experiencing all of them, slipping between them every time I left and came back. Maybe everyone who stays there experiences it differently. Maybe the room shows you different versions based on some pattern we don't understand. Or maybe there are infinite rooms, all numbered 237, all occupying the same space, and the boundaries between them are thin enough that you can slip from one to another without realizing until it's too late. I looked up the Grandview Hotel, found old reviews online. Several people mentioned room 237 specifically, called it weird, off, wrong. One review said the room felt like it belonged in a different hotel. Another said, I kept getting lost trying to find my room even though I'd been there for 3 days. No one explained it clearly, probably because it sounds insane when you try. But they all felt it. That wrongness, that sense of being in a space that isn't quite stable, isn't quite real. I don't know if room 237 is still there, still changing, still glitching between realities. But I know I'm never going back, never checking into any room 237 anywhere. Because once you've experienced a space that can't decide what it is, a room that's all rooms and no room at the same time, you don't forget it. You don't stop wondering which version of reality you're in right now. If the room you're sleeping in tonight is the same room you'll wake up in tomorrow, or if while you sleep, the walls will shift, the furniture will rearrange, and you'll wake up in a space that's familiar but wrong. That's what room 237 taught me. Reality isn't as stable as we think, and some places exist in more than one version at once. You just don't notice until you check into room 237.